effects it had on Hawaiians, and the community and the environment. So that's how far back we've been talking and asking about studies to be done so that the problems you see today will occur. But asking for one is the psychological effects of Hawaiians. It's the same psychological effects that you would have on any religion if you stop altering the theology. So if you've taken this money, 2 years on Hawaii have been defending my traditions. You guys using and prostituting my religion and just pimping the money, paying off this state-created Office of Hawaiian Affairs with a 20%, and the state getting 50% and the county getting 30%. Like everybody gets paid off to shut down the Hawaiian. It's about money. You sit around and just collect these funds or these royalties, and you understand what royalties is? How did you even get there? What is a royalty? You get royalty for pork, you get royalty for fish, you get royalty for water. How come you get royalty for geothermal? Well, it was something that was in our monarchy, that we had mineral rights, so you reach back into our past government and pick out what you think you need, like mineral rights. Well, what about the overthrow? You don't want to address that? You just like take things of the past to benefit yourself in the future and step on the Hawaiians in the process. Because if the assimilated pressure or put upon the native Hawaiian, we have to go with the flow, or we just ain't going to make it. And it's all about, to me, the whole idea of 3-4 generations of immigrants coming to these islands, growing up with Hawaiians, and not taking care of the whole people. You guys don't go home. You stay. Why you stay? Because we never asked you to come. Somebody else did. But you know history. And you know when you grew up here, a lot of things was wrong. You guys think about fixing them? Or you going to take advantage of the pilau that was done? This money they're asking for should have been automatic already. It shouldn't have come out of doing jail that you get the payoff and now you can put the bucks back into unstudied. I mean, what, you kill somebody first and then you're going to study on after? You're going to say that geothermal isn't something bad to Hawaiians? Well, it's a rape of my belief and my traditions. And you ain't going to jump in that straight. And you do that long time. You should be cleaning up the whole body as part of making.
Sorry, I have to interject. I mean, I think we can be cordial.
Come on.
I know.
30 years.
I know it's a
Already
sin.
you were 83.
I
Not
know.
more yet.
I know it's a
You see,
sin.
this guy's giving you the respectful talk. You should do the same. You should let this Hawaiian talk, because you never heard him talk before. And you never heard any Hawaiian talk this way. Seize the moment, brother, and be more humble about who you are and who I am as a Hawaiian. Humble yourself. This is Hawaii. It's not America. And we have traditions and beliefs. And brother, respect me. We're a minority today. Number 4 in the census. They're both Filipinos and Hawaiians today. What voice we get? You telling me to shut up? You don't hear my voice? You won't be hearing a Hawaiian voice in the long run. Only if you start up an holiday. You ain't going to hear Hawaiian talk about Hawaii. No more. There's no tradition. Because nobody respect that anymore. Everybody gets their belief on. I'm going to have mine to mine. Hey, I'm a vet. Vietnam vet. I fought for the freedom of religion. Okay? Never say exempt Hawaii out of that. So why aren't you putting any money into the study of what happened to Hawaii? Out of 6,000 people in prison, 4,000 in Hawaii, and we number 4 in the census. There is a psychological impact. There is a PTSD of Native Hawaiians still control. Do any IS on the impact of Hawaiians when all you foreigners came? I'm sitting here looking at foreign faces to ask my respect, shame on you guys for living here and not looking out for who was your neighbor, who took care of your ancestors when you first came. God damn, man. Put the money in the study where it belongs. If not, that day. So go pass the buck. Do what is right, and ain't your money and prostitution money, and put it back where it belongs. That's my statement. Now.
So just, no, I wasn't asking you to stop. I was just simply asking that we have a level of, we can just be cordial during this process, that's all.
I'd like to just finish by saying, you know what this is? Cultural racism. You impose yours on mine. If you're a Hawaiian that wants to be a Westerner, I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to Hawaiians that want to be Hawaiians. Because that's the hardest thing to be today. Because nobody wants to do that. So respect who I am, and respect the host people. Not the ones who gave it up, the ones who still trying to hang on and pass that on to our kids. The passion and the fire, okay? Every black child knows what racism is. What you guys doing in Hawaii? Go ahead.
Now we'd like to welcome Palikapu Dedman. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna turn the light off.
Yeah.
You can open the doors. You can stay right here.
Yeah, anyway, we got the money for the study.
Oh my.
And the study's been completed. I got a summary of it. We put it in the EIS that Sarah did on the impacts of natives. You know the history of Hawaii. And the problem that I saw or learned about through all these years is the whole idea of what Christianity did to Native people. Indigenous people, like Hawaiians, our environment was our heaven. We don't get to go someplace else when you die. That's a Christian concept. So they can rape everything they want because they're going to a better place. For Native people, we don't go to better places. This is the better place. We're part of the environment. We made our religion around the environment. As you understand, there's a lot of phrases you hear now and then about an aumakua, the level below the gods. And that's who we live with, our io, our manu, the things that we can relate to, that have respect to, because we couldn't create them. So, whoever did is who I look up to. And as going in traditions, I was a family of a Pele clan. My mother's name was Pele. So I am the brother of Pele, Palikapu Komoali. So I grew up with traditions and got conditioned with traditions. So when geothermal came around, I always thought that Pele gonna take care of you, not fooling around. You cannot hurt Jesus, right? How do you hurt Jesus? Tell me. Well, you don't can hurt Pele. Same thing. But what you do hurt is the people that look up to these things. So, growing up with traditions, I thought Pele would take care of the problem. So I'm minding my own business fishing. And the Volcano Community Association, who filed a contested case against geothermal, had their experts, which are not the big money experts, that's what developers pay. So they had a problem in contested case with their experts and the richer experts. So I was fishing at the beach, commercial fishing, and somebody came down from Volcano to say, oh, we got a problem with geothermal. I said, yeah, I heard about it. And what do you want from me? He said, in our court case, there's one component missing. And that was a native Hawaiian component. Because it was science against science. Rich science against poor science. And always the poor science will get their ass kicked. So I just said to them, hey, I ain't worried about it. Pele's gonna take care of it. So I went home, they went home, but I couldn't sleep. I think there was something I was supposed to do. So I showed up and became part of their contested case, bringing in the native component to the whole argument about geothermal, which is missing. It's all science and science. So during that time, Pele erupted. And the eruption wasn't even seen or known maybe by volcano, but the fishermen out Poike saw the fire in the forest. And that was pool wool poking out of the forest, right in the middle of the geothermal project, right in the center. So a whole contested case was dropped. The whole geothermal project had to be scrapped. Volcano was a neighbor to this geothermal project, Volcano Park. They didn't want to fight the project because it was a state-proposed geothermal project. It was down in Hawaii. The state wanted to own their first utility company. That's what it's like, earning the first oil well. So the state was the one pushing and sponsoring. There was no private people. It's all state people. And then in order to get the funding from Washington, D.C. It was going to get bonds up to $3 billion to do geothermal. That's the cost for the boat they had to build to lay the cable and the cable to run from Big Island to Oahu. So what happened during that eruption, the state was still wanted to push geothermal, so they did a land swap. All of a sudden, the geothermal project went down to Waiokele into you people's neighborhood. That's where that thing was a land swap. We sued the state that you cannot swap land without my rights. So you made it private property for geothermal development, which is going to be done by Campbell Estate, which is the big 6, not the big 5, you know why? So they had all the money, they had all the politicians, they're ready to do geothermal at Puna, Waiokele Puna. 25 power plants, the size of Puna Geo right now, 25 of those, spread out throughout the forest. So they started drilling with the land swap. We took them to court, and we lost in the 9th Circuit. Building Defense Fund telling them that our rights were swapped away. So we continue. We lost that swap case, but we continued on gathering rights case. So now we're in Waiokele Puna, not allowed to gather because it's private property, the Campbell Estate. So here we are, protesting this whole thing. That's what I mean, Bob. Back then. So we were the Hawaiian component. These people were the ones living with it. So, and Hawaiians too, that was out there. But the idea was that nobody knew was going to do that, coming to Puna. Puna Forest was a natural area reserve. That's the highest status of land you can give in Hawaii. They took that completely out with one signature and turned it into industrial. So the natural area reserve now became an industrial development area. So the protesters went on in every way you can figure. I bailed out over 400 people during the geothermal time and arrest. But I can't, I'll never get close to that arrest. Just how much people didn't want it to happen in Puna. There was a break for Fort Lauderdale. Everybody knows that. The summer break where all the college kids all head to Florida. Well, we were partners working with Greenpeace, Rainforest Action Network, Sea Shepherd, all these big environmental organizations came and supported us. And we flew up to their office to give presentations. We came very close working with each other. So they played a key part in our demonstrations and protests. I can say over 400 people got bailed out. Well, the 400 people, thousands of them came to break for the rainforest in Hawaii. Greenpeace put that all over the nation. Don't break for the Fort Lauderdale, break for the Hawaii's rainforest. Because that's the only rainforest, we got it in the United States, and we're saving rainforests in Arizona, Amazon. Let's come and save Hawaii. So about 2,500 students came and protest. We camped right outside of a house that was right outside of Waiokele. We had workshops on civil disobedience. We did a lot of good stuff. And the buses came in to arrest us because we went around the gates. 13 children got taken away because their parents got arrested. So there was a lot of action going on in Puna. So now you have to think about, it's a state project that's being dumped down here in Puna. And it's all about energy. And in the meantime, you gotta know, they did ocean mining testing off Kalapana coast already. So the geothermal power plant that was gonna do 500 megawatts was gonna be a smelting process for the cobalt, the manganese nodules that they were gonna drill. Mine off of Kalapana coast. The big plan was that take the manganese nodules from Kalapana coast, use the energy that was going to come up with 500 megawatts, and send the cobalt, which is the finished product, back to the mainland. That's the big plan for Puna. I don't know what everybody didn't know that, but that was all, and studies done already. Got proof of that. The state did studies on the whole manganese nodules, and geothermal was going to be the power to smelt all that pilau. And the current was going to take it down to Kona. The idea about the admissions, Kona raised hell, the health department, because the admissions would be going to Kona. The currents all go down to Kona, South Point, and around the bend. So all the pilau that happened here was going to end up in Kona. And Kona got aware of it and said, no, you can't kill all Waikiki. So they got really supported about stopping admissions coming out of geothermal and going toward Kona site. That's why they came up with this re-injection. So now they don't shoot them up in the air, they poke them down in a puka that dries up because it's not a renewable energy. So you can go back in a hole that's not being used. So that's where the pilau stay. Well, as Kanakas, we did a lot of protests. And the protest was all about how much we love our place. So we're getting punished or going to court and getting arrested and fingerprinted. Which was my mom, my son, my brothers, my sisters, my whole family had to go through that fingerprint and arrest. And it's just how much we love where we at. And all they can charge us for was overloving. What else? We went too far in our show of love that you had to arrest us? Well, you know, the sad thing too is they use a lot of Kanakas. They use a lot of my own Hawaiians. And it's sad that us Hawaiians have accepted Christianity so soon, so fast. Go ask an American Indian. Our only Christianity, right? They gave it an automatic. We were gullible. We took it. And with that mentality, our environment came abuse. Like where did it come from? And that mentality. And as a Hawaiian today, You look back and say, was their history that great? What did they do to the American Indians? What did they do to black people? What did they do to the Alaskans? To the Chicanos? People of color? I'm not supposed to say yes on Kanaka going with a 50th star. I saw what you did to the other 49 stars. Am I supposed to be that gullible to say, okay, I'll be like you? Huh? Make common sense. Why would I be like you? With your whole history of abuse on humankind and indigenous people. Huh? I know what common sense Kanaka that understand what went on in history and why that abused me and why would I keep accepting it. Huh? Be serious. If a bird don't change his song in his whole life, how come I gotta change mine? I was put on this earth like everybody else. And my purpose here, was to be on Kanaka. Not on Samoan, not on Tahitian, on Kanaka. So, you get extra? There's another place where you can go get Kanakas and replace the ones you got here? In the race sense, are we endangered or threatened? Are that those status that they put toward extinction? They got these boxes of endangered and threatened and extinction? What box are we in? With no replacement. Everybody here got a place to go because their origin and their culture and where they came from is still there. I'm talking about where I stay. I'm an islander. And on one island, ass kicking comes way faster than one continent. On one island. Okay? So historically, you can see my ass kicking when I'm the first race to die in the state of Hawaii. I got the worst health problems of all the people in Hawaii. I don't own my resource. I can't destine my future because I got no voice. So, standing up for geothermal is a small thing. And I ask myself, what threat am I to society, to America? What? Just staying Kanaka is a threat? Please. I don't have an army and I don't have an aircraft carrier that Christians vote for, or bless, not vote, but bless all these peel-out things to go out and kill people all over the world. Believing in Pele don't do that. That concept is not there. So, standing up for Geo for traditional understanding is a Kanaka thing. But you think the Kanakas would yield to the ones who don't know? No. They act like who pays them, act like the occupier, and they know better because they went to this conditioning school. The same school that stole Indian kids from their families, stuff them in these missionary schools to kill the Indian to save the man. What's Kamehameha School? What's Hawaii? Huh? Kill the spirit of the Kanaka and give them a new one? And this is the results. We Hawaiians are acting like the Westerners. We're a handful who love who we are. and the rest of them don't give a shit. That's simple fact. And if you think I'm making up stuff, go look at stats. You guys all get computer. Go look and see how beneficial and where we headed as Hawaiians. Like I said, no more extra connects. There's no extra islands. We're going with the flow, and we're going faster in the flow than anybody else. So, I think it's important that we Kanakas get the respect from all the people that live here, all the people that call this place their home. To respect the Hawaiians and their beliefs. None of their beliefs is going to hurt Hawaii. You saw it when you first came. Was that caused by Hawaiians? Was all this toxics we live with, pollution, killing of all native species, overgrown with exotics from someplace else, as well as people as exotics. They don't benefit if you're not part of understanding. This is a small island. To me, being one Hawaiian has nothing to do with color. It's just about attitude, man. Adjust your attitude. That's all that is. It's not a racial thing, unless you want it to be. So, that's my talk about the P-law of geothermal, is that it hurts me. You're not going to hurt Pele. Like I said, you ain't hurting a Catholic priest because you can't hurt Jesus. So, Tai. I feel the same. You're never going to mess with her. You only mess with me that believe in her. So, like everything else, mountain to the beach, from the mountain to the sea, that's us. And when you say Mauna Kea was sacred, Mauna Kea starts from the beach. The thing don't start from Saddle Road. Sacredness starts from there. Now you pull a lid. I'm telling you, there's a lot of problems with the connects of Mauna Kea. A lot of them not from here, so they had a whole different attitude. And that attitude, if you come from Oahu, you lost maybe 90% of your traditions. Oahu now is a Hawaiian, you can buy tradition. Get on the phone and order. That's the connect. Living off the land, very few do. And the idea about, your Hawaiians all leaving the islands. Yeah? Why? Try to lower the blood quantum on Hawaiian homes down to 1/8. And see how many Kanakas no go, because they got some place here. How long are you going to keep 50%? Jesus, man. How many Kanakas left 50%? A handful? So, you like keep me home, keep the Hawaiians home, and give them me reason to be home. That's it. Did I say enough? I can't go on, So.